Hey guys, in this problem we're given a whole paragraph explaining what a knot is, and then we're asked to find the speed of the ship in 3 different speeds, starting with knots. Now, this is a perfect example of the kinds of questions that I hate, where you're given all of this information, and it's just to confuse you, because this is one of those questions where you're given all this information, and it turns out in the end that you only need like a tiny piece of it to actually figure out the answer to the question, and that most of the numbers aren't really needed. So part A of the problem asks for the ship's speed in knots. Now here's the thing. The problem says, it explicitly tells us that the ship's speed in knots is the same thing as the number of knots that passed through the sailor's hand as the rope was turning against the wheel, against the water. And then we're explicitly told that 17 knots have passed. So that means the speed of the ship is 17 knots. And that is the answer to part A. We don't need to do any other math or anything else. It's just that's the answer to part A. If 17 knots pass, then the ship has a speed of 17 knots. Parts B and C of the problem are asking the exact same thing for the speed of the ship, except in different units. So now we basically just have a unit conversion problem. So part B of the problem asks for the ship's speed in miles per hour. So we gotta do a unit conversion here, and there are really any number of ways you could do this. You could simply go on the internet and look up a conversion factor between knots and miles per hour. If you wanted to do more of the work by hand, then you could start by maybe converting from miles into nautical miles, since that's another way that knots are based on. You could probably also figure out the conversion factor by using the fact that we're told that the knots are separated by 47 feet and 3 inches, and maybe do something with that. That could probably work too, but that's also super complicated, and we want to do things the easiest and most efficient way. So I think really the best way to solve a problem like this is just to look up the fact that a knot has this conversion factor where about 1.15 miles per hour are in each knot. So if we put that into our calculator using this conversion factor, we find, I'm going to box my answer here because that's what I do, then we find that the ship's speed is about 20 miles per hour. So that's part B, and part C asks about the ship's speed in kilometers per hour. So part C, we're converting from kilometers per hour. And I should note real quick that this 20 miles per hour answer I gave is a rounded answer. The actual number that my calculator gave me was closer to 95.55 or 19.55 miles per hour. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when we use intermediate values, we want to hold on to them for calculations before we do further rounding. And the reason why I'm saying all of that is because miles per hour is already pretty close to kilometers per hour. So instead of trying to do a conversion from knots into kilometers per hour, I'm just going to take the value we already have for miles per hour and very simply convert that into kilometers per hour. And the only conversion factor we need to know is miles into kilometers. Once again, though, this is something you're probably just going to want to look up. That 1 mile corresponds to 1.609 kilometers. So the miles cancel out, and we find an answer that is in kilometers. We find about 31 kilometers per hour. And so that is our final conversion. So that is our answer for all 3 parts of the problem, and so that is it for this video. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please consider subscribing or telling your friends about this channel, because that'll help me out in making more videos just like this one. If you have a request or a question, leave a comment down below, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye-bye.